As Hans Olsen has moved on to the corporate world, we're looking for the next great Utah sports radio talent.
There's something for everyone.
While we do that, you get stuck with this guy.
Hey, everybody, here's our star.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, folks, let's get it. How about that? That's another one we got to put in the old jar, huh? Yeah, there's a hands jar.
Just set
anytime
that money
we
aside,
mention
please.
it. What's that?
Just set that money aside for me.
I know. We'll have a big party here pretty soon. But yeah, we've got the hands jar. Every time we mention the name, we got to put $1 in the jar. Instead of the swear jar, we have the hands jar. But we have got a busy show. Brock Huard is going to join us from Seattle coming up here in just a moment. Kurt Heelan, NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com. And also, Frank Schwab will join us from Yahoo Sports, and some guy named Patrick Kinahan will also join us coming up at 2:05. All right, there's so much to break down. We got so much to talk about. First off, recapping the Super Bowl as it finally is now in the rearview mirror. And again, Brock Huard will help us with that coming up here in just a moment. But it is a bittersweet moment, as we talked about yesterday. The NFL season's officially done. College football's been done for a minute, and now we just have to gear up and get ready for the long off season and watch baseball. And nobody wants that. Hey, you have your Mammoth, and as soon as the Olympics are over in the next 4.5 weeks, then we'll have some Mammoth hockey back. I'm just, the Olympics are something that I know that I should be into, and I will watch. I just have a hard time really breaking down curling. And I'll sit there and I'll watch it, and I'll have a great time and enjoy it. But when it comes around and trying to do something and really trying to get fired up about what's popping on TV and getting ready for another big curling event or another big figure skating event, I just have a hard time. I know. It's just not quite what you would hope it to be. Now, we'll have hockey. And ultimately, if we can get ourselves a United States versus Canada gold medal game, then everything's worth it. Absolutely everything is completely worth it. So that's what you're hoping for. I have a sneaking suspicion we'll probably see that. And if that does indeed go down, then, hey, I'm on. Let's go. But the problem I have with the Olympics is the Mammoth were cooking. Mammoth were playing such great hockey, and then they got to go on a break for 3.5 weeks. And, I'm ready to get them back on the ice here in Delta Center. Joining us now, one of our favorites, it is Brock Huard, joining us from a very happy Seattle. How you doing, Brock?
Oh, Scotty, too hotty. We are just spoiled. We are just spoiled in the Pacific Northwest. Let me just say that, all right? I'm like a trust fund baby that knows how good I have it, all right? The Mariners on the precipice of the World Series, the Seahawks lifting the Lombardi. Like, man, we got it good right now in the Pacific Northwest.
All right, so, yeah, you feel like you were born on second base when you do radio in Seattle right now.
More like third base. Yeah, more like third.
Yeah.
Maybe halfway home. Yes.
What was your confidence level going on Seattle going into that Super Bowl? Because, frankly, I really felt like they were going to win that game and win it big.
Yeah, it was pretty high, honestly. Not as high as Salk. We were on Media Row last week, and anybody and everybody that came on was like, well, you're going to get blasted. Like, they're going to blow them out. It's going to not even be close. Like, this is stupid. Like, why do you even think it's going to be a game? Like, you're not near, like, I'm like, Salk, take it down a notch. This is the Super Bowl, and it's only a 4-point spread. Like, come on, man. And I even asked Mike, I said, were you ever nervous? He's like, yeah, a little bit before kick. I was thinking about this is Salk a little bit. I was a little over the top with my confidence. But then once the game started, honestly, from the first play, which was outside zone, they gained 10 yards. They score on the first drive. They were undefeated this year when they scored first. Like, yeah, they're the better team. And then watching that front absolutely detonate and decimate anything New England tried to do, yeah, it was pretty cool to put that stamp of defensive approval on that game and leave that mark and leave poor Drake May in tears.
I'm really fired up to break this down because I want to get the quarterback perspective on this, because New England was getting a pretty good pass rush on Sam Darnold. And but yet you could see the experience, and nothing seemed to rattle him, even when he got pressure. On the flip side, Drake May, he looked like a second-year player playing in a Super Bowl, for crying out loud. And it's not to say he's not going to be a great quarterback down the line, but he showed a high level of inexperience in that game.
Yeah, I think the difference, and I'll give like a little Utah background on this, is what New England was doing was what Morgan Scalley loves to do, and that's bring a lot of people and bring pressure and play cover zero and just play man and be hyper aggressive. And when you're playing against that scheme as a quarterback like Sam was, you know they're going to win some of them, right? They're gonna hit me. I got to get the ball out earlier. Like, you're going to win. You got more chess pieces at the line of scrimmage than I do blockers. And you know what? I just eventually have got to be patient, because eventually we're going to get explosive runs. Eventually we're going to get the right call at the right time to throw the touchdown on the little scissors concept to the tight end. Like, it's a boom or bust. On the flip side, it was like the Buccaneers defense with Monty Kiffin the last time a defense was really this dominant Super Bowl. Like, no, we just rushed 4. Or the New York Giants NASCAR package. Like, no, we just rushed 4. And when your 4 beat the other 5, as Collinsworth said, there's no more demoralizing a feeling. And as a QB, you're like, this really sucks. Like, I got nowhere to go. They got 7 guys for my 4, in coverage, and I got nowhere to go. And then these 4 are hitting me, harassing me, knocking me down, beating me up, just making my life miserable. So, yes, it was a young quarterback, but I think even more than that, Scotty, it was a scheme that suffocates you when you only rush 4 and you can't block them. See also Tampa, see also the Giants, see also Philadelphia last year. Like, that is the kryptonite for any offense, no matter how talented they are.
How much do you put on Josh McDaniel for not being able to scheme around some deficiencies you had in that game on the offensive line?
Yeah, it's just like the most basic arithmetic. If you can't block 4, I don't care who you are. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, come on, Andy Reid. Like, you're Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Come on. Get the answers. Like, no, we can't block Philly. Like, we can't, come on, Tom Brady. Come on, Joshy Boy and Tom Brady. You got Randy Moss. Block it. No, we can't block their 4. Like, I mean, I have a hard time kind of criticizing, especially with Drake May being a really, I know he's a second-year player, but just wash away the dysfunction of last year. And in many ways, he was like a rookie player this year. So if Brady and Mahomes and those guys couldn't solve that arithmetic, there was no way that Drake and Josh McDaniels in this version were going to get it done.
Brock Huard, kind enough to join us, putting the finishing touches on the Super Bowl. If you had to look at the Legion of Doom versus that defense you saw in the Super Bowl, who are you taking?
Ooh, different. Yeah, kind of different cast of characters. I would say this one is deeper, and you saw that, unfortunately, in the 2014 loss, Scotty, when they lost Cliff Averill to the concussion. I would contend if they would not have lost Jeremy Lane and Cliff Averill, they would have won back-to-back Super Bowls. It wouldn't have come down to a couple plays at the goal line at the end. They had a two-possession lead. They would have finished that game, and they'd have been 2-time champs. And who knows? Maybe it would have been a third one after that. But that defense, once they lost Averill and once they lost their nickel Jeremy Lane early, like, you could see they didn't have the depth. This defense, you could have lost Kobe Bryant and Ty Okada would have come in. You could have lost another corner and another corner comes in. You could rush 8 different guys. You could have lost Ernest Jones and Tyrese Knight comes in. Like, this defense was deeper and I think more well-versed. But that one, especially the front line of it in 13, that group, and they held, like, go look at the scoring differential. Like, this crew was number 1 in scoring defense. I think it's 17 points a game. Do you realize that 2013 team held teams to 11 points a game? Not in 1960 or 70 or 80. Like, that was just a dozen years ago. So that team was more dominant. This team was deeper. And overall, or those defenses, and overall, this team 1 through 70 was deeper. This is the greatest Seahawks team in franchise history, and I will stand on the rock and the mountaintop and scream it. Every stat tells you that. The scoring differential tells you that. The DVOA tells you that. Your eyes tell you that. 1 through 70, this team, there was a reason they won 17 games. They were deeper. They were better equipped. They could win in so many different ways, and ultimately stomped out the Patriots.
Well, and when you talk about 1 through 70, one thing I love about how the Seahawks have built this team is there's some coaches and some general managers, and I complain about this in the collegiate level too, that coaches don't spend a lot of time recruiting or offering scholarship to special teams players, your kickers and your punters. Seattle's gone all in on special teams. They pay those guys well, and frankly, that punter was as responsible as anybody for that win, simply making Seattle start inside the 5 and the 10-yard line, drive after drive, which led to a field position battle and led to field goals being kicked and that lead.
No question. And it is the highest paid special teams group in the league because of Jason Myers and because of Michael Dixon getting paid top of market. But in the scheme of things, they're almost a rounding error or a decimal point when it comes to what those dollars and cents are. $4 million a year for the highest paid punter. Do you make a difference? Yes. And we just finished with Mike McDonald in our final show of the year an hour ago, and he was like, you understand that punt returner was like the best in the league and one of the best in NFL history when it comes to yards per return. He was that dynamic. And the fact that, Dixon kicked it away, the fact there was so much hang time, the fact they covered the way they did, because they did have to punt a fair amount. New England's defense was really good. New England's defense gave up 8 points a game in the 3 playoff games and embarrassed Herbert and embarrassed Stroud, right, and obviously got after Stidham. That's a really, really, really good defense. That's a championship-worthy defense, but it wasn't a championship-worthy offense, and then was neutralized even in the special teams phase by a group that was the best in the league.
Did you get a sense pretty quickly that Mike McDonald was going to be what he's turned out to be?
Yes and no. I would say once he made the move off of Ryan Grubb, and he and John Schneider were decisive in that way, and once Kubiak and his crew came in, and then once Cooper Kupp and Sam Darnold pivot, this is going to be fun to watch. Scotty, I've kind of tried to put this in perspective, right? 12 years ago, they win the first one, the first ever in our market, and I'm trying to figure out why that one felt so much, bigger, but it was just meaningful because it took 4 years to incubate. 7-9, Russell Wilson divisional round, 13 win, boom, you win it. This one was almost a 1 year. I've kind of said it's almost like a inheritance. Here you go. You just take it. You didn't really earn it. It's a gift, and you just really enjoy it. And even over the course of this year, Scotty, there were numerous times. So it was hey man, are the fans in? Do they see what we're watching? And it really wasn't until that Thursday night win over the Rams that everyone was finally oh, okay, this is real. And this is a chance to be really special. And then they curb stomped the Niners in the finale, okay, yeah. So it's kind of been this 4-week, 5-week madhouse sprint to lift this trophy that, oh my gosh, this is real. And these guys really got it done. So, yeah, it's a different vibe and a different feeling. And to say that anybody believed going into this year, yeah, Mike McDonald, they're poised to do it. Yep, look at the power rankings. They were in the 20s. They were 60-1 odds. This wasn't supposed to happen. But, man, was the buy-in real. Man, do they love each other. And, man, did they absolutely put their stamp on it Sunday.
So usually Las Vegas and the Raiders are where quality coaches go to die. Why do you think, and if you do think Clint Kubiak, why do you think he'll be different there?
Yeah, I think the only way that works there, and this will be really interesting to watch this week and into next, is, when he came to Seattle and they were able to do that this year because he brought John Benton and he brought Janoko and he brought other people with him, right? Because the New Orleans staff had been fired, so he could bring people with him. This will be a little different animal, and I think it'll be worth watching. And I know Lloyd's deeply interested in this on the other side of the glass. This will be really interesting to see how much he can poach and how much Seattle says, sorry. Mike McDonald, when he left Baltimore and came to Seattle, Scotty, he brought almost nobody with him because John Harbaugh, I think, was pretty clear, sorry, yep, you're not taking him. He's under contract. Sorry. Unless you elevate somebody into the play caller, you're not taking them. So this will be kind of an interesting little negotiation. I think Clint is deeply respected. I think he and Mike love each other. I think it will be professional. But that will be, if I'm a Raiders fan, how many people can he bring with him from Seattle, and in particular at the line of scrimmage, because he needs those resources around him to have success.
Do you think Seattle promotes from within there, or do they go outside?
Yeah, I would lean that way. This will be for Jackson Smith and Jigba, his fourth coordinator in 4 years. That's not a good thing typically. So Mike made it pretty clear today with us that continuity will matter. I would think they'd try to keep as many people together on the staff and elevate from within as much as they possibly can, unless they're overwhelmed. And you know what? Unlike a lot of other teams that just do what, the book says to do, Seattle doesn't do that. It's why they moved on from Russ, why they moved on from Gino, why they moved on from DK, why John Schneider was patient and hired Mike McDonald when everybody interviewed him and loved him, but we're like, well, we need to hire an offensive guy because that's what you do. They're not always by the book. So if they get overwhelmed, and they will do their homework, by somebody outside, they could make that move, but I think they would love to have the continuity of someone in-house.
Well, we appreciate your time as always. Hopefully Kyle's got you a good spot reserved so you can be outside and call a parade because you guys earned it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's 10 a.m. I mean, Bump and Stacy, we get Boyle, we get McDonald, and we're on Radio Row, with Daniel Jeremiah every week. So we're going to be good teammates, and we're going to let Bump and Stacy do the whole 4-hour parade at 10 to 2. How about that?
That's awfully kind of you. That's very kind of you.
At some point, Scott, I need a nap. Like, this has been
I bet.
But first world problems, I kind of need a nap.
Hey, by the way, I'm going to hit you up a little later. I got a couple things to run past you, but we appreciate you as always. Thanks for joining us.
Always fun, brother. Be well.
You got it. Brock Huard, one of our favorites right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, anchoring a monster of a show there in Seattle. Brock and Sock do a tremendous job, and big fans of what they've built there. And, we've always talked about when we look at Bonneville, in which we're a part of, they've got all these rankings. And it's like Lloyd, I don't know, it's kind of like a used car lot where you walk in and you see the whiteboard and you see, this sales guy is selling this much, this guy's doing this much. And so they like to pit the stations and the shows against each other. So we will always see Brock and Sock on like downloads and streams. They're like ridiculous numbers. Like I think they've got a cell farm in like Taiwan that has they're just streaming things nonstop there.
Yeah, I think you're right. They have to have some sort of cell farm.
I don't know how they're doing it, but they're pulling it off, and good for them. We respect them. And then you got Mark Schlereth and his show number 2. In the company, and then we're at number 3. Now we might be able to get Schlereth. That's who I'm aiming for. Like we're coming for Schlereth. Stink, we're gonna get you. Sock and Brock, that might be a little too much. I think it's important that you understand who you are and where you are, and take those little victories. Schlereth, yeah, we're getting you.
Not always easy to beat trust fund babies.
No. And you know what? Good for him for admitting it, too, because there's a lot of trust fund babies out there like, I worked for everything. No, you didn't. Stop it. No, you didn't. Everything was handed to you. Knock it off. But he's like, yeah, you know what? We walk into here, and we've got the Mariners that were cooking last year. We've got the Seahawks who are winning Super Bowls. Yeah, life's pretty good. And, frankly, we didn't have time to talk about it, but after what Adam Silver said the other day, there's a good – or I believe what was it yesterday – there's a good chance the NBA is coming back to Seattle here in the next couple of years. So whether it's a expansion team or whether somebody moves there, Seattle's getting an NBA team. In 2 to 3 years, Seattle will have an NBA team. Las Vegas will have an NBA team. It's just a matter of somebody moves there or if they just give them an expansion team. Either way, it's going to happen. So then they really hit the trifecta with the NFL and the Sonics coming back to town. It's good to live in Seattle right now, outside of living in Seattle where it rains, 300 days out of the year. Right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You're listening to Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on back, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard with you. Hope you're having a great one. It's a Tuesday, and that means we got Jazz tickets to give away. Let's do it.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the 3. He hits! Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, you know the drill. Call number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE, and you'll win a pair of tickets. See the Jazz take on the Portland Trailblazers on February 12th, coming up at the Delta Center. That game will tip off at 7 o'clock. If you want those tickets, be calling number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. All right, so the Jazz pick up a W on the road last night, knocking off the Miami Heat 115-111. Jazz had a big second quarter and then started to give the lead back a bit, ultimately holding on, getting the victory, and again, in the fourth quarter, no Jaren Jackson, no Lauri Markkanen. Lloyd, I don't know if you got the quote or not. I should have sent this over to you earlier, but somebody asked Will Hardy after the game, was there any thought whatsoever of putting Jaren Jackson back into the game in the fourth quarter? And he gave a very lengthy, detailed answer as to why. Here it is.
How close were you to putting Jaren and Lauri back in the game?
I wasn't.
That's it. How close were you to putting him back in the game? I wasn't. Next question. Smart man, because you had Jaren Jackson playing 24 minutes, Lauri Markkanen 24 minutes. So what do you prefer? And, Lloyd, I want to get your opinion on this, too, because we talked about this yesterday. So what do you prefer as a Jazz fan? Would you – look, we all want losses, right? And last night the Jazz got a win. But we need this team. If you're a Jazz fan, you desperately need them to hold on to that first-round pick. You do not want that to be conveyed to Oklahoma City. The last thing Oklahoma City needs is another high first-round draft pick. So if you're the Jazz, you need to hold on to that first spot. Remember, it's protected 1 through 8. So that's where the Jazz need to land in the lottery. It's not about where you end at the regular season, like, okay, we had the 4th worst record, that's where we're going to be slotted. No, it's after the lottery balls are settled. That's where the Jazz will find out whether or not they're picking in that top 8 or not. So you need to lose as many games as you possibly can. So there's a number of ways you can do that. Number one, you can just sit out everybody and just give a complete middle finger to the fan bases in the NBA and play the Greg Popovich route and say, nah, we're not going to play anybody. And we'll make up reasons as to why. We'll play whatever silly game the NBA wants us to play and make up excuses and fake injuries as to why our guys aren't going. Or you can do what the Jazz have done and what Will Hardy has done. We just traded for a new shiny Maserati in Jaren Jackson Jr., and you as a fan base want to see what he can do. I, as a coach, want to see how he interacts with our guys and how they play on the court together as we rebuild this thing going into next season. So, yes, Jaren Jackson plays 24 minutes. Lauri Markkanen plays 24 minutes. Jusuf Nurkic plays 24 minutes. And in the fourth quarter, nothing. Jaren Jackson was on the court for 24 minutes last night. The Jazz were plus 15 when he was on the court. Here's your other, and I know plus minus can be a little misleading sometimes. Lauri Markkanen in his 24 minutes was -6. Jusuf Nurkic -3. Isaiah Collier in his 34 minutes, even 0. But when Jaren Jackson Jr. in his 24 minutes was plus 15. He ends up with 22 points on the night. He pulls down 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. You're seeing the next key figure in Utah Jazz history on display, and you get to experience it. Now, in a perfect world, you're going to see exactly what happened in that game against Orlando. Jaren Jackson plays well. Lauri Markkanen plays well. You shut him down in the fourth quarter, and you end up losing that game. That was perfect. But all of a sudden, you got people around the NBA coming after the Jazz and saying, how dare you? You're ripping up the sanctity of the game. So you would rather the Jazz would not have caught the amount of heat they did had they just not played anybody. But yet they played them for a part of the game and shut them down in the fourth quarter. That apparently is worse than not playing them at all. I'd argue it goes the other way. If I'm an NBA fan and I want to see how Jaren Jackson plays with Lauri Markkanen out on the court and how Ace Bailey is now initiating good parts of the offense, he ends up with 2 assists but 8 rebounds last night, scores 16 points, and how your future superstar Ace Bailey works with Jaren Jackson and Lauri Markkanen on the court together, well, then guess what? You get some opportunities to see that. You get an opportunity as a coaching staff to develop that. And ultimately, you did get a win last night. You wish you hadn't have. Bryce Sensabaugh hits the big bucket down the stretch to give the Jazz the win. But I think the Jazz are handling this the right way. I prefer this route. Now, if they keep winning games, you may need to take a longer look at it. And I anticipate over the next few weeks, you're going to see those minutes really start to decline, whereas Jaren Jackson, maybe for home games, plays 24 minutes, and then all of a sudden some tendonitis flares up that nobody had heard of before. And
well, air travel
back-to-backs.
causes things to inflame.
It does.
Fact.
It does, yeah. I mean, look, I spent a lot of time last week on a plane. You know what? Came back, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm feeling it. You know,
knees were probably a little swollen.
Knees were a little banged up. Yesterday when it started raining, I could tell. I'm like, yep, been on a plane too long. Look, you got to shut it down. You got to make sure that you are taking care of your guys. But more importantly, you're losing games. So, I don't know, Lloyd. Would you rather they just not play altogether?
No, I want to see. I think they're. I'm with you. I think they're handling it right. And this witch hunt for the Utah Jazz right now, it's like, shut up. Like, this has been going on forever, and everybody goes about it a different way. They're sitting players. So you'd rather people go to these games and not see these players, see the great players. We know what they're doing. Everybody knows what everybody's doing. We know that people are tanking. If they want to change it, then they need to change the rules. They need to figure out something else if that's what they really want to do. But this has been going on forever, so shut up about it.
Spot on. Calm it down, people. And you know what? I don't want any negative news going towards the Utah Jazz going into the lottery, because we all know the lottery's got a little bit of a sketchy history. I want the Jazz just to lay low, and I just want them to go in with maybe the third or fourth worst record in the league. I don't want them to have the worst record in the league, because we saw how that worked out last year. I just want them to fly under the radar, and then all of a sudden, hey, look, when LeBron James was in the draft, he went to Cleveland. Where's he from? Cleveland, Akron, but, same thing. If you have a guy who is a top 3 pick and considered one of the best in what a lot of people think could be a generational draft in A.J. DeBonsa, he played high school ball in Utah. He plays college ball in Utah. Come on. And you screwed over the Jazz last year so you could put Cooper Flagg in Dallas. You owe us one. So I don't want any negative news going against the Jazz. Like, I want just
say it. Jazz have been getting hosed forever. They have been getting hosed.
Yeah. And in fact, I want to produce a T-shirt that has like the Jazz logo, being screwed over by the league since 1978. Something like that.
You wonder why Jazz fans have like a little bit of a complex? Because they have been. Yeah. There's a reason they have a complex, because they've been getting screwed since, what was the year again, Scotty? What would you like on the T-shirt?
I just guessed 78.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly when Larry Miller bought the team, but roughly
right around there. Yeah, I get your point. Yes, they have been getting hosed since then.
So come on, NBA, Adam Silver, you owe us one.
Do the right thing.
You owe us one. And look, our guys are trying to do the right thing. They're showcasing the best talent in the NBA. They're showcasing their best players. By the way, Larry Miller bought the team in '85. So
wow,
there you go. So being screwed over by the league since 1985. But, yeah, look, you owe us one. The Jazz deserve one. You throw A.J. DeBonsa on this team next year, and you let him grow, you let him develop, and you add a little 3-and-D, as we talked about with Ben Anderson yesterday. This is a playoff team next year. This is a 4 or 5 seed in the playoffs. No doubt whatsoever.
I love and what I love most about this is, Jazz fans have been in the dumps for now 3 years. Like they have been. This is giving them a little bit of excitement, which they deserve. They haven't had anything to cheer for. I mean, you heard Locke after this happened. It's like the ding dong, the witch is dead. Like no more tanking. Like it's done. Like it's now the future is starting to build.
What you're going to see right now, we are going to look back 2-3 years from now when we're doing this show and we're talking about the Jazz as the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed going into the playoffs. You're going to look back to last week and say that was the moment that the misery ended. That moment when the Jazz pulled the trigger for Jaren Jackson Jr., that's when it ended. Now, I don't know what the future looks like. I don't know how this team's going to come together, but you have a 26-year-old that still has 4 years left on his contract. You don't have to worry about him. You're going to draft a guy in the top 3 or 4 of the NBA draft. Out of this year's draft. You've got Ace Bailey. You've got a superstar in Keontae George. And, now the question is, Walker Kessler, can you bring him back? Are you willing to match whatever contract he gets in restricted free agency? And then you look at Larry Markkinen and his contract status after these next couple of years. You have a window here to take advantage of it, and the Jazz, with Keontae George playing as well as he is, have hit on it in a big way. You just can't rock the boat. No winning games. And look, if you win games like you did last night, then yes, you do need to shut down Jaren Jackson because you got your pivotal piece. You got the thing that ends all the misery. Now you just got to build on it, and it all comes through the draft. All right, what you may have missed coming up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Wow. Hey, guess what? Our guy Brant already designed the shirt. Oh, chat. Well, I mean, that's all right. You know what? Send that over. We're going to, we're going to get that printed, and I'm sure Nate will give us a huge budget to print these out.
Hey, now's the time to ask, by the way.
Out of games.
I think now is the time to ask because I think Nate's getting loose.
Oh, yeah, let's not say that out loud because
he's in a meeting right now. I think he's in a
he?
meeting. I think so. I don't think he's listening.
All right.
If we get a text here, we'll know better.
All right, Brant just sent you the shirt. Give me your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Well done.
That is well done.
I think we got something. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Again, what you may miss coming up next.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, remember, the best blanket ever is also the best Valentine's gift ever. Exclusive Valentine's blankets only available at Minky Couture. Save 50% off using promo code ZONE50 at Minky Couture stores and online at minkycouture.com. All right, what you may have missed right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. And if you are missing it right now, I highly suggest you watch it. Matt and I, Brant, Paulette, we're all watching a little women's hockey. United States leading Canada 2-0 after the first period. All right, I want to be a little careful about this because when I started doing radio, now granted this was a long time ago, this was pre-Twitter, but we would do this thing, Ryan Hatch and I, when we'd be talking on the radio, we'd have this, the old sounder from, the old earmuffs, because some people would get really upset because they'd want to go home and watch the Olympics as if it were live and not have any spoilers as to what's going on. But in this day and age with Twitter and everything else that's available, your phones, you can watch things wherever you want. I mean, nobody cares about the spoilers anymore, right?
That's funny. Me and Christian were literally just talking about this in the break. I'm like, I feel like, because there are people that want to go home and watch it. But with all the social media, it is impossible to avoid it. It's impossible to avoid it. We're not only that, but we're also doing a live radio show. Like, yeah, we update things, scores, whatever. That's like what we do. So
Matt and I, in fact, Matt, throw on that headset because we've got, he and I were talking. I actually enjoy watching women's hockey because it's just as physical and nasty as the men's. Now, it's not as fast, and I'll give you that.
Yeah, but you've got some extreme athletes on there really giving it all, and then they put each other against that wall just as hard as you'll see on a men's team. And right now, like I said, you got the U.S. and Canada. That's your two best teams in the Olympics.
So you're watching it here. You don't care about the spoilers. If you were sitting at your cubicle or in your office, your palatial office, I guess I should say.
I mean, at this point in time, I think it's on you, right?
Yeah, right?
Like if you want to be disconnect yourself, do the best you can to avoid it. Don't turn on the radio unless it's Scotty.
Yes. Yeah. Please do that.
And then get home and watch it. I always feel like I would rather watch it live, so I'll put it on like we have it on right now and watch it live, even if it's kind of casually watching it.
Yeah,
I can't watch 24 hours of sports. I'm not that guy yet.
It is fun being that guy.
Sure,
but it does take a little wear and tear on you for sure.
For sure, I will say that lunchtime was early, so we could watch the curling gold medal. I won't give any spoilers, but.
So that's already in the books, huh?
That's in the books.
Oh, boy.
They're just the doubles.
Nice. Right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.